They thought it was over, didn't they? They laughed, they celebrated, they walked away believing the past would never catch up. But you see, the thing about life is it has a funny way of balancing the scales. Pain? Oh, my friend, pain is not just a feeling. It's a teacher. And some lessons, well, they don't come cheap. Some people think they can betray, deceive, manipulate, and just waltz away untouched. But ooh, life remembers. The universe, ooh, it keeps the receipts. They walked away, smiling, convinced they had won. They thought the past would stay buried, that the weight of their actions would never catch up. But life has a way of keeping track, of making sure that every deed, good or bad, comes full circle. Time may pass, faces may change, and the world may forget, but karma never does. It lingers in the shadows, waiting, watching, patient as ever. At first, nothing happens. Days turn into months, months into years. They grow comfortable, believing they have truly escaped. The world rewards them, success comes their way, and they tell themselves that maybe, just maybe, they were justified in what they did. But karma is never in a hurry. It doesn't strike when expected. It waits until they are at their highest, until they feel invincible. And then, like a whisper in the dark, it begins. It might start small, a series of misfortunes, a streak of bad luck. The same deception they once used on others now circles back to them. Trust is broken, opportunities slip away, and the security they once felt begins to crumble. The people they stepped on to climb higher, they resurface, not in anger, but as silent witnesses to their downfall. The betrayal they once dealt out now finds its way into their own homes, their own relationships, their own hearts. Regret starts creeping in, but it's too late. They try to outrun it, deny it, pretend it isn't happening. But deep down, they know, they feel it. A force greater than them is balancing the scales, and no amount of pleading, fighting, or escaping can change that. The same pain they inflicted now becomes their reality, and they realize karma never forgets. In the beginning, deception feels like a victory. The lie is told, the betrayal executed, and for a while everything appears perfect. They walk away with no consequences, no suspicion, no signs that the truth will ever surface. They convince themselves that they have outsmarted fate, that their secrets are buried too deep for anyone to uncover. But time has a way of peeling back the layers, revealing what was once hidden. At first, the cracks are small, an inconsistency here, a forgotten detail there. They dismiss it, believing they can maintain control. But the truth is relentless. It lingers in the air, in the memories of those they deceived, in the quiet whispers of doubt that start to spread. People begin to notice. Questions arise. The carefully crafted facade starts to falter. Then comes the unraveling. What was once a tightly held secret begins to slip through the cracks, piece by piece. One conversation leads to another. One mistake becomes a chain reaction. The lies they told to cover their tracks start to contradict each other. The people they manipulated start connecting the dots. The trust they once had, the power they once wielded, all begin to fade. And then the inevitable happens. A single revelation is all it takes. The illusion shatters. Those who once stood by them now turn away, realizing the depth of the deception. Their reputation, built on falsehoods, collapses under the weight of truth. The same lies that once protected them now become the very thing that destroys them. What they thought would remain hidden forever is now out in the open for all to see, because no matter how carefully they conceal it, time exposes everything. At first they feel relief. They got away with it. No consequences, no retribution, no one calling them out. They convince themselves that it's over, that the past is behind them. But the human mind is not so easily fooled. Guilt has a way of creeping in, slow and silent, settling deep within places they can't escape. They try to drown it out with distractions, work, success, people, noise. But in the quiet moments, when the world slows down, it resurfaces. A memory here, a thought there, a fleeting glimpse of the ones they wronged. They shake it off, tell themselves it doesn't matter. But the mind has a way of replaying the past over and over, like a film stuck on repeat. The words they said, the damage they caused, the faces of those they betrayed, it all lingers, haunting them in ways they never expected. Sleep becomes restless. They toss and turn, waking in the middle of the night with echoes of their own actions whispering in their ears. They see reminders in places they never looked before. A stranger's face, a familiar song, a certain phrase. Suddenly it all connects back to what they did. They thought they had escaped, but the real punishment isn't something external. It's internal. They begin to second-guess themselves. Maybe they weren't as justified as they once believed. Maybe what they did wasn't just a mistake, it was a choice. And that choice, no matter how deeply buried, is still there. They carry it with them, a weight they can't shake, a shadow they can't outrun. The world may have forgotten, people may have moved on, but their own mind refuses to let them go because guilt is its own punishment. They believed their actions had no consequences. They moved through life taking, deceiving, hurting without a second thought. To them, power meant control, and control meant winning. They pushed people aside, stepped on others to rise higher, and laughed at those who warned them that life had a way of balancing the scales. But the universe is not blind. Every action, every intention, every choice sends out a ripple, and ripples always return to their source. At first it seems like nothing happens. They enjoy their victories, their moments of triumph, believing they are untouchable. They look down on those they wronged, convinced that kindness is weakness and morality is just an illusion. But what they fail to realize is that the same energy they put into the world is quietly making its way back to them. It doesn't always come immediately. It doesn't always come in the way they expect, but it comes. One day the tables turn. The same betrayal they once delivered is now their reality. The lies they spread come full circle, now being whispered about them. The people they disregarded move forward, stronger, while they begin to feel the weight of everything they ignored. Suddenly, the power they once had slips from their grasp. The control they prided themselves on begins to crumble. They try to fight at it, try to outrun in it, but the cycle is unbreakable. The universe does not play favorites, and it does not forget. The choices they made, the pain they caused, they inflicted, all returns as they never imagined. The same disregard they showed to others is now the disregard they receive. Because what goes around comes around. Every action, every word, every choice leaves an imprint. Some believe they can move through life unseen, that their deeds, whether good or bad, will fade into nothingness. They assume that as long as no one catches them, as long as there is no immediate consequence, their actions will be forgotten. But the universe has a way of keeping track, of recording every intention, every kindness, every betrayal. Nothing disappears. Nothing is erased. For those who act with malice, it starts as an illusion of victory. They manipulate, deceive, and take advantage, believing they have escaped judgment. They mock the idea of justice, thinking they are too clever, too untouchable. But the weight of their actions never truly leaves. The energy they release lingers, waiting, building, preparing to return at the right moment. And when it does so with precision, delivering exactly what they put out into the world. For those who act with kindness, patience is required. They may feel unseen, unappreciated, as if their goodness is wasted in a world that often rewards the ruthless. They wonder if their sacrifices matter, if their integrity holds any weight. But the universe does not overlook sincerity. The same unseen forces that return darkness to those who spread it also ensure that light finds its way back to those who give it. Life is not random. It is a system of balance, a cycle that moves with or without permission. What is planted will grow, and what is given will return. The score is always being kept, not in ways that are always obvious, not in ways that are always immediate, but in ways that are always just. Because no deed, good or bad, goes unnoticed. Silence is often mistaken for weakness. People assume that those who do not react, who do not seek revenge, who do not chase after justice with loud voices, are afraid. But true strength does not need validation. The strong do not waste their energy proving themselves. They do not run, they do not hide, and they do not seek to escape what is coming. They stand firm, knowing that truth, time, and justice will always do their work. The weak, however, cannot bear the weight of their own actions. They move through life avoiding accountability, pretending that the past is behind them, that the choices they made will never return to haunt them. They build walls, cut ties, and disappear into new environments, hoping that if they run far enough, they can escape the consequences. But running is not freedom. It is fear. The weak are not escaping judgment. They are delaying it. At first, they convince themselves they have succeeded. They change their surroundings, their identities, their narratives, telling themselves that the past can no longer touch them. But the reckoning does not need to chase them. It is already within them. It manifests in paranoia, in restlessness, in the growing unease that no amount of distance can erase. They jump at shadows, suspect friends, and live in constant fear that someone, somewhere, remembers what they did. Meanwhile, the strong remain unmoved. They do not beg for justice, nor do they cry out for revenge. They know that in the grand scheme of life, those who run will always find themselves circling back to the very things they try to escape. The strong endure, they wait, and they watch. Because those who are truly powerful do not fear the reckoning. They embrace it. The desire for revenge is natural. When someone has been wronged, betrayed, or hurt, the instinct to strike back to make them feel the same pain can be overwhelming. But revenge is a heavy burden, one that consumes energy, time, and peace of mind. It demands focus on the past, keeping wounds open instead of allowing them to heal. The more one chases retribution, the more they remain trapped in the cycle of pain. Justice, however, operates on its own timeline. It does not require interference. It does not need force. It moves silently, steadily, aligning circumstances in ways no one can predict. The one who wrongs others may feel invincible for a time. They may believe they have escaped without consequence, that their actions have been buried under time and forgetfulness. But life has a way of restoring balance. The weight of their deeds follows them, appearing in unexpected places, unraveling their success, their relationships, their peace of mind. Those who seek revenge often find that it does not bring the satisfaction they expected. Hurting someone back does not undo the original pain. It does not erase the betrayal. It does not heal the scars left behind. Instead, it keeps the fire burning, prolonging the suffering instead of allowing justice to take its course. When wrong has been done, the most powerful response is patience. Not passivity, not acceptance of injustice, but the quiet confidence that life itself corrects the wrongs. The same forces that allowed the betrayal will ensure its exposure. The same deception used to harm others will be the very thing that leads to downfall. Those who inflict suffering on others will in time, experience their own reckoning. Justice is not a matter of if, but when. Patience is often mistaken for weakness. In a world that glorifies quick action, immediate responses, and instant results, waiting can seem like doing nothing. But true patience is not passive. It is a strategy, a weapon sharper than any impulsive reaction. Those who understand its power know that time reveals more than confrontation ever could. The most painful lessons, the deepest regrets, and the greatest reckonings do not happen in a single moment. They unfold slowly, stretching over months, years, lifetimes. When someone has wronged you, the urge to respond, to retaliate, to force justice into existence is strong. The mind craves closure, an end to the discomfort, a moment where the balance is restored. But real justice is never rushed. It does not come in the heat of the moment. It arrives when it will leave the deepest impact, when it teaches the harshest lesson, when it can no longer be escaped. Time wears people down. It forces them to face the choices they thought they had outrun. The person who once stood confidently in their deception begins to crack under the weight of their own guilt. The one who took shortcuts, who betrayed, who manipulated, starts to see their success slip through their fingers. The truth they buried begins to resurface, piece by piece. And when it does, it is undeniable. Patience ensures that when the moment of reckoning arrives, it is not a temporary inconvenience, but a permanent transformation. The person who once laughed at the idea of consequences will find themselves living in the reality they created. No force is needed, no intervention required, only time. Because the most painful lessons, the ones that cannot be ignored or forgotten, always come with time. In life, there are those who believe that the best way to deal with wrongdoing is to take matters into their own hands. They think they must actively pursue retribution to make the wrongdoers feel the same pain they caused. But sometimes, the best course of action is simply to let people live with their own choices. Their actions, their decisions, will eventually be their own downfall. No intervention is necessary. The universe has a way of ensuring that those who sow destruction will eventually reap it. When someone does wrong, whether through betrayal, manipulation, or deceit, they often believe they can walk away unscathed. They may think that as long as they avoid immediate consequences, they have outsmarted fate. But what they fail to realize is that every choice, every action leaves an imprint. The weight of those choices begins to bear down on them, slowly but surely. Over time, they will find that they cannot escape what they've done. The lies they told will catch up with them. The trust they betrayed will unravel. The relationships they destroyed will fracture, and the damage they caused will echo back to them in ways they never anticipated. It doesn't matter how much they try to mask their guilt or pretend they've moved on. The truth always has a way of surfacing. The consequences of their actions will follow them, creeping into their lives, eating away at the very foundation they built their success upon. No one needs to act against them. They will destroy themselves by simply continuing to live out the reality they created. The truth, like a slow-burning fire, will consume them from the inside. And when the reckoning comes, they will have no one to blame but themselves. The pain they cause to others is never truly gone. It doesn't vanish with time or distance. It lingers, festering, finding its way back to those who first dealt it out. The suffering they imposed becomes a mirror reflecting their own fate. They may think they've escaped, that no one saw or remembered, but life has a way of turning the tables. The very things they used to harm others, betrayal, lies, manipulation, will one day be the source of their own pain. The lesson is simple. What you give to the world will eventually come back to you. It may not come immediately, But it will come. It will come when they least expect it, when they believe they are untouchable. And when it does, it won't be a coincidence. It will be the natural result of their actions. The suffering they caused will be the suffering they endure. In the end, life has a way of balancing the scales. We may think we can escape the consequences of our actions, or we may believe that those who hurt us will never face retribution. But the truth is, no one gets away with anything. The universe keeps track, karma never forgets, and time will always expose what's hidden. The strong endure in silence, knowing that justice doesn't require their interference. It is inevitable. Those who wrong others may run, may hide, or may even believe they have won, but their own choices will be their undoing. The suffering they've caused will be the lesson they learn. The pain they inflicted will return to them. No action, no word, no choice goes unnoticed. So, while we may not always see it in real time, rest assured, life will